Imagine living in a world where distance controls your life. A simple trip to another city could take days, sometimes even weeks. You might never see places just a few hundred kilometers away. Then one invention changed everything. And suddenly, the world started to feel smaller. Before trains existed, distance was one of the strongest forces in everyday life. It controlled where you could go, who you could meet, and even what kind of future you could have. Most people spent their entire lives in the same town or village. It wasn't because they didn't want to explore the world, but because moving across that world was slow, difficult, and often dangerous. If you needed to travel, your options were very limited. You could walk for long hours, sometimes for days, or you could ride a horse if you were lucky enough to have one. Wealthier people used carriages, but even these were far from comfortable. The roads were rough and uneven, and in many places, they were nothing more than dirt paths. When the weather was good, travel was already slow. But when it rained, everything became worse. The ground turned into thick mud, wheels got stuck, and horses struggled to move forward. A journey that should take a few hours could suddenly take an entire day. Sometimes, travelers had to stop completely and wait for conditions to improve. Travel was not only slow, it was exhausting and unpredictable. People had to carry food, prepare for sudden weather changes, and deal with long hours of discomfort. There were no clear signs, no modern maps, and no quick help if something went wrong. If a wheel broke or a horse became sick, the journey could be delayed for days. Because of this, distance created isolation. Towns and villages felt like separate worlds. People knew their local area very well, but anything beyond that felt far away and unfamiliar. News traveled slowly, usually carried by letters or by travelers who shared stories along the road. It could take weeks for important information to reach another city. This slow movement also affected trade and business. Goods were difficult to transport over long distances, so most products were local. Fresh food could not travel far before it spoiled, which meant people had limited choices. If something was not produced in your area, it was often expensive or impossible to get. Even the idea of time felt different. There were no strict schedules like today. People followed natural rhythms, like sunrise and sunset. If a journey took longer than expected, no one was surprised. There was simply no faster way to travel. For many people, traveling far from home felt like a serious risk. It meant leaving behind everything familiar and stepping into the unknown. Some people never traveled more than a few kilometers in their entire lives. Their world was small, not by choice, but by limitation. And yet, despite all of this, people still dreamed. They imagined visiting distant cities, meeting new people, and discovering places they had only heard about. But those dreams often felt impossible. Distance was not just space, it was a barrier that controlled opportunity, connection, and progress. Still, change was slowly coming. People began to realize that if they could find a way to move faster and more reliably, they could break that barrier. They didn't know exactly how yet, but they understood one simple truth. If distance could be reduced, the world itself would change. Long before trains as we know them today, people were already trying to solve the problem of movement. They knew that wheels could make transport easier, but they also faced a simple challenge: friction. Friction is the force that slows things down when they move. When a heavy cart rolls over dirt, the ground pushes back against the wheels. This makes it harder for horses to pull, especially when the load is heavy or the road is rough. So people began to think of a clever solution. What if the wheels didn't roll directly on dirt? What if they rolled on a fixed path instead? This idea led to one of the earliest forms of rail transport. In mining areas, especially in places like England, workers needed to move heavy materials such as coal and iron. Carrying these materials by hand was too slow, and using carts on rough ground required too much effort. So they built simple tracks made of wood. These were called wagonways. A wagonway was a path made of wooden rails. Carts with wheels could move along these rails more easily than on normal roads. Because the surface was smoother and more stable, horses could pull heavier loads with less effort. This was a small but important step. It showed that guiding wheels along a fixed track could reduce friction and make transport more efficient. In simple terms, it made moving things easier and faster. Over time, these wooden rails were improved. Engineers began to replace wood with iron, which was stronger and lasted longer. Iron rails could carry heavier loads and resist damage better than wood. This change made the system more reliable. Now, instead of just small mining paths, these rail systems began to grow. They connected different parts of mining areas and allowed goods to move more quickly from one place to another. But there was still one major limitation. These systems still depended on horses. Even though the rails made movement easier, horses were still needed to pull the wagons. This meant that speed was still limited. Horses could only move so fast, and they still needed rest, food, and care. So while wagonways improved transport, they did not fully solve the problem of distance. Still, something important had changed. People had discovered that rails could guide movement in a powerful way. Instead of fighting against rough roads, vehicles could follow a smooth and controlled path. This idea would later become the foundation of modern railways. At the same time, engineers and inventors were watching closely. They saw the benefits of rails, and they began to ask a new question. If rails made movement easier, could a machine replace the horse? This question slowly opened the door to a new possibility. Instead of animals pulling wagons, what if a machine could do the work? What if it could move faster, carry more weight, and travel longer distances without stopping? The idea was still unclear, and the technology was not ready yet. But the direction was changing. People were no longer just trying to improve travel. They were beginning to rethink it completely. And soon, a new kind of power would enter the story. One that did not get tired, did not need rest, and had the potential to change everything. As rail systems slowly improved, one major problem still remained: horses. No matter how smooth the rails were, transport still depended on animals. And animals had clear limits. They became tired after long hours, they needed food and care, and they could not move faster beyond a certain speed. This meant that even with better tracks, distance was still a powerful barrier. So inventors began to search for a new kind of power. They wanted something stronger, more reliable, and able to work for long periods without rest. They wanted a force that did not get tired. That is when steam began to attract attention. Steam power had already been used for years, especially in mining. Deep underground, water was a constant problem, and steam engines were used to pump that water out. These machines were large, heavy, and fixed in one place, but they showed something very important. Steam could produce continuous power, and it could do hard work without stopping. One of the most important figures in improving steam technology was James Watt. He did not create the first steam engine, but he made it much more efficient and practical. His improvements allowed steam engines to use less energy while producing more power, which made them useful in many industries. At its core, a steam engine works in a simple way. Water is heated until it becomes steam. This steam builds pressure inside a closed space, and that pressure pushes parts of the engine to move. In other words, heat is turned into motion. It may sound simple, but at the time, it was a powerful and almost magical idea. For many inventors, this opened a new possibility. If steam could move machines in factories, then maybe it could also move vehicles. Maybe it could replace the horse. But turning this idea into reality was not easy. Early steam engines were extremely heavy and not designed to move. When inventors tried to put them on wheels, they faced many problems. The machines were difficult to balance, hard to control, and often broke down after short use. Some produced too much pressure and became dangerous. Others were simply too weak to move efficiently. There were also practical problems. These machines needed fuel and water, and both had to be carried along during the journey. This made the vehicles even heavier. In many cases, the machine itself was too heavy for the roads it traveled on. Because of these issues, many early experiments failed. Some machines could move, but only for short distances. Others stopped working suddenly. A few even caused accidents that made people more afraid of the technology. As a result, many people began to doubt the idea. They believed steam engines were useful in factories, but not for transportation. To them, the risks were too high, and the benefits were unclear. But not everyone gave up. A small group of inventors continued to experiment. They believed the problem was not the idea of steam power itself, but how it was being used. They began to think more carefully about where steam engines could work best. And this is where rails became important again. On rough roads, heavy machines struggled. But on iron rails, the situation was very different. Rails provided a smooth and stable surface. They reduced friction and allowed heavy loads to move more easily. This meant that even a large steam engine could move more efficiently if it stayed on a fixed track. This realization changed everything. Instead of trying to build steam-powered vehicles for normal roads, inventors began to focus on railways. They saw that rails and steam power could work together as one system. The rails would guide the movement, and the steam engine would provide the power. Now, the idea became much clearer. A steam-powered machine on rails could pull many wagons at once. It could carry heavy goods over long distances. And most importantly, it could move faster than horses, without needing rest. Still, there was fear. To many people, these machines looked dangerous. They were loud, full of smoke, and completely unfamiliar. Some even believed that moving at high speed could harm the human body. Others thought the noise would scare animals and create chaos. But even with fear and doubt, progress continued. The idea of steam-powered transport was no longer just an experiment. It was becoming something real, something possible, something close. All it needed now was one person to take this idea, improve it, and prove to the world that it truly worked. And that moment was coming very soon. At a time when many people still doubted steam-powered transport, one man truly believed it could work. His name was George Stephenson, and his ideas would help change the future of travel forever. Stephenson did not come from a rich or educated background. He was born into a poor family in England, and as a child, he had very little access to school. In fact, he learned to read and write only when he was older. But he was curious, and more importantly, he was determined to understand how machines worked. He spent much of his early life working in coal mines. These mines used basic rail systems and simple steam engines, so Stephenson had the chance to see these technologies every day. He didn't just use them, he studied them. He observed how they worked, what problems they had, and how they could be improved. Over time, he began to form a strong belief. Steam engines were not just useful for mines or factories. They could be used to move people and goods across long distances. While others focused on the problems, Stephenson focused on the possibility. So he decided to build something new, a steam locomotive that could run on rails. This was a difficult challenge. Many inventors before him had tried similar ideas, but most of them failed. The engines were often too heavy, too slow, or too weak. Some could not run for long periods, while others broke down easily. There were also problems with balance and control. Stephenson did not try to solve everything at once. Instead, he worked step by step. He improved the engine design, made it more stable, and increased its power. He also paid close attention to the rails themselves. He understood that a good locomotive needed strong, well-built tracks to run on. In 1814, he built one of his first successful locomotives. It was able to pull heavy loads of coal along railway tracks. This was an important achievement, because it showed that steam-powered transport could work in real conditions, not just in theory. However, many people were still not convinced. Some believed that these machines were dangerous. They were loud, produced smoke, and looked very different from anything people were used to. Others thought they were too expensive and not practical for everyday use. There were even strange fears that moving too fast could harm the human body or make people sick. Despite all this doubt, Stephenson continued his work. He improved his locomotives again and again, making them more reliable and more efficient. Each new version performed better than the last. His efforts began to change opinions. People started to see that these machines were not just experiments. They were becoming useful tools. They could carry heavy goods more quickly and more efficiently than horses. They could also travel longer distances without stopping. Stephenson's work reached an important moment when his locomotive designs proved that steam-powered rail transport was not only possible, but practical. This was the breakthrough that many had been waiting for. For the first time, the idea of fast, reliable land travel began to feel real. Stephenson did more than build machines. He showed the world that distance could be reduced, that travel could be faster, and that a new future was possible. And very soon, the world would see clear proof of that change. By the 1820s, the idea of steam-powered trains was no longer just a dream. Thanks to the work of George Stephenson and other engineers, the technology had improved enough to be tested in real conditions. But there was still one important question that no one could fully answer yet. Would it truly work in everyday life? That question was finally answered in 1825, with the opening of the Stockton and Darlington Railway in England. This was not a small experiment. It was the first public railway designed to carry both goods and passengers using steam power. On the day it opened, a large crowd gathered to watch. People were curious, excited, and also a little afraid. Many had heard about steam engines before, but very few had seen one moving on rails like this. Then the moment arrived. A steam locomotive, designed by Stephenson, began to move. It pulled a long line of wagons filled with coal, goods, and people. Thick clouds of steam rose into the air, and the sound of the engine echoed across the landscape. It was loud, it was powerful, and it was unlike anything people had ever seen. As the train moved forward, something surprising happened. It did not stop. It did not slow down like a tired horse. It kept going, steady and strong. The speed was not extremely fast by today's standards, but at that time, it felt incredible. Some people tried to walk or run alongside the train, just to see if they could keep up. They quickly realized they could not. Others stood still, watching in silence, trying to understand what this machine meant. There was still fear. Some worried about safety. Some believed that traveling at higher speeds could harm the human body. Others were simply unsure about trusting such a new invention. But one thing was clear to everyone who saw it. The system worked. This was no longer an idea or a test. It was a real transportation system that could move goods and people more efficiently than ever before. What once took days could now take much less time. After that day, opinions began to change. Investors saw new opportunities. Engineers saw new possibilities. Governments began to understand the value of railway systems. Slowly, more railways were built, connecting towns, cities, and regions. Distance, which had controlled life for so long, was beginning to lose its power. And once people saw this change with their own eyes, there was no going back. After the success of the Stockton and Darlington Railway, the world began to change in a quiet but powerful way. At first, the change was slow. Not everyone trusted trains, and building railways required time, money, and effort. But little by little, more tracks were built. More cities became connected. And more people began to experience this new way of travel. For the first time, distance started to feel smaller. A journey that once took days could now be completed in hours. People could travel farther without feeling exhausted. Goods could move faster, which meant markets could grow and offer more choices. Life began to expand. People were no longer limited to the place where they were born. They could visit new cities, find new jobs, and experience new cultures. Ideas also traveled faster. News spread more quickly, and connections between places became stronger. Even the way people understood time began to change. With trains, schedules became important. Trains needed to arrive and leave at exact times, so people started to follow more precise clocks. In a way, trains didn't just change distance, they changed time itself. What once felt far away now felt closer, and what once seemed impossible now felt normal. The train did more than move people. It reshaped the world. It connected lives, opened opportunities, and reduced the power of distance. All of this began with a simple idea. That movement could be faster. And once that idea became real, the world was never the same again.